Investment Minister claimed German company is interested to invest in electric battery factory. Presiden Joko Widodo appointed Kereta Api Indonesia as the lead consortium for the Jakarta-Bandung Fast Train project. Good evening, viewers. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business, economic, and capital market sector. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we'll provide you the latest COVID-19 information. Please stay safe by taking some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a mask, avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. And with me, Fajar Wayong, this is Market Headlines. Let's open up market headline. Investment Minister Bahlil Lahadalia claimed Badisha Anilin Soda Fabrik or BASF, the largest German chemical producer, is interested in investing and building a factory for raw materials for electric vehicle batteries in Indonesia.
The Minister of Investment and head of BKPM Bahlil Lahadalia claimed that BASF, the world's largest chemical producer from Germany, is interested in investing and building an electric vehicle battery raw material factory in Indonesia. According to Bahlil, the targeted location in Indonesia for the establishment of the factory is in central Halmahera, North Maluku. This interest, continued Bahlil, was obtained when he met BASF in the middle of a working visit to Frankfurt, Germany recently. This interest was immediately welcomed by Bahlil. In fact, he promised to help BASF in realizing the plan. The plan is that BASF wants to enter Indonesia through cooperation with Eramet, a mining company from France. Later, they will build a refining facility, aka a nickel and cobalt smelter, which is the raw material for electric batteries. The project includes the constructions of high-pressure acid leaching and base metal refinery plants. However, Bahlil asked BASF not only to build nickel factories and smelters, but also to process these materials into electric batteries. IDX Channel reports.
Meantime, 2 industrial estates in metropolitan Rebana area will be offered to Middle Eastern investors. West Java Governor Ridwan Kamil revealed this when he met the Minister of SOE Erick Thohir at the Pakuan State Building, Bandung. Ridwan said the meeting discussed a number of plans to strengthen investment in West Java. Rebana Metropolitan is the northeast area of West Java Province, which includes 7 regions, namely Sumedang, Majalengka, Cirebon, Subang, Indramayu, and Kuningan Regencies, and Cirebon City. The 2 Rebana industrial areas that will be offered to Middle Eastern investors are the Aero City development in Majalengka and the investment in the former land of RNI in Subang. The promotion of the 2 Rebana areas is included in the central government's agenda, namely an investment safari that will be carried out in the near future. According to Ridwan Kamil, so far, relatively few investors from the Middle East have invested in West Java. The majority of foreign investment in West Java comes from the East Asian region such as Japan, Korea, China, and Singapore. So according to Ridwan Kamil, intensive steps are needed to attract Middle Eastern investors to West Java, one of them by way of door-to-door convince investors. And the Ministry of Industry continues to support the improvement of competitiveness and productivity of the agricultural machine tool industry subsector. This form of support is realized through the program of providing free domestic component level certification for 9,000 small and medium industrial products and large-scale industries, including for groups of agricultural machinery and equipment that support the National Economic Recovery Program. Based on the Ministry of Industry's records as of Friday, October 8, 2021, there were 107 products with a domestic components level of 25 to 40% and 139 products that had a domestic component level of more than 40%. Minister of Industry Agus Gumiwang Kartasasmita said that through this program, the government hopes to reduce dependence on imports of machinery components. The Minister of Industry explained that domestic component level is the amount of production components made in Indonesia in a product of goods and services or a combination of both. And we're moving on to global update. Taiwan will not bow to pressure from China and will defend its democratic way of life. Meanwhile, Iraqis cast ballots on Sunday for a new parliament in a vote boycotted by the many of the young activists. And more stories on today's International Minute. Taiwan will not bow to pressure from China and will defend its democratic way of life, President Tsai Ing-wen has said in a defiant speech amid heightened tensions over the island. Her remarks on Taiwan's National Day came after China's President Xi Jinping failed to fulfill reunification. China denounced Tsai's speech, saying it incited confrontation. Taiwan considers itself a sovereign state, while China views it as a breakaway province. Austria's Chancellor Sebastian Kurz has stepped down after pressure triggered by a corruption scandal. He has proposed Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg as his replacement. Mr. Kurz and 9 others were placed under investigation after raids at a number of locations linked to his Conservative People's Party. He denies claims he used government money to ensure positive coverage in a tabloid newspaper. Power has been restored in Lebanon, officials say, after a 24-hour shutdown of the country's energy supply. The Energy Ministry says the central bank has granted it $100 million of credit to buy fuel and keep its power stations operating. The power grid shut down yesterday and officials said it was unlikely to restart for several days. For the past 18 months, Lebanon has endured an economic crisis, an extreme fuel shortage. That crisis has left half its population in poverty, crippled its currency, and sparked major demonstrations against politicians. Iraqis cast ballots on Sunday for a new parliament in a vote boycotted by many of the young activists who thronged the streets 2 years earlier, calling for an end to corruption and mismanagement. The vote had been scheduled for next year but was brought forward in response to the popular uprising in the capital of Baghdad and southern provinces in late 2019. Tens of thousands of people took part in the mass protest and were met by security forces firing live ammunition and tear gas. IDX Channel reports. Market headlines will be right back. Stay tuned on us.
Awali hari Anda dengan beragam informasi bisnis terkini yang kami kemas dalam berita teraktual dan berkualitas. Power Breakfast, informasi terkini seputar ekonomi, bisnis, pasar modal, dan industri kreatif yang dikemas secara ringan. New Screen menyajikan informasi ekonomi, bisnis, dan keuangan. Market Headline menayangkan berita ekonomi dan bisnis dalam bahasa Inggris. Saksikan program-program berita ekonomi dan bisnis terkini langsung dari sumbernya, live hanya di IDX Channel. Your Trustworthy Economic, Business, and Capital Market Channel.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.
Dilihat dari sektor UMKM nampaknya sudah mulai terasa itu, Pak.
Ya, kalau kita lihat dari indikator kredit ya untuk UMKM, ini memang sudah menunjukkan bahwa ekonomi UMKM mulai memiliki.
Satgas COVID-19 tetap mengingatkan agar masyarakat tetap disiplin dalam menegakkan protokol kesehatan.
Pemerintah akan melakukan upaya terbaik untuk memvaksinasi sebanyak mungkin orang dan secepat mungkin.
Kementerian Perdagangan optimistis target pemerintah untuk membuat 30 juta UMKM go digital bisa tercapai di akhir tahun 2023. Wisata Bali dan Labuan Bajo hingga saat ini masih menjadi favorit.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. President Joko Widodo has officially appointed Kereta Api Indonesia as the lead consortium for the Jakarta-Bandung Fast Train project. And at the same time, the President also appointed Luhut Binsar Panjaitan as the leader of the Jakarta-Bandung Fast Train Committee.
Kereta Api Indonesia has officially become the lead of a consortium for the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed train project named Pilar Sinergi BUMN Indonesia. This is stated in Presidential Regulation Number 93 of 2021 concerning amendments of Presidential Regulation Number 107 of 2015 concerning accelerations of implementations of fast train infrastructure and facilities between Jakarta and Bandung. Members of this consortium consist of Wijaya Karya, Jasa Marga, and Perkebunan Nusantara. Previously, Wijaya Karya was the largest shareholder in the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Rail Project Consortium. Through the same presidential decree, the government has also formed the Fast Train Committee between Jakarta and Bandung, which is led by the Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment, Luhut Binsar Panjaitan. Committee members consist of Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani, Minister of SOEs Erick Thohir, and Minister of Transportation Budi Karya Sumadi. With this change, the consortium is obliged to submit reports to Luhut on a regular basis regarding the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed rail project. In addition, the government will budget funds for the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed train project from the state budget. The funding from the state budget is carried out by means of state capital participations to the consortium leadership and guaranteeing the obligations of the consortium leadership. IDX Channel reports.
Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi held a bilateral meeting with Serbian Foreign Minister Nikola Selakovic. Various issues were discussed at the meeting, including cooperation related to the recognition of the COVID-19 vaccine certificates from the two countries. Furthermore, Indonesia officially announced the nomination of the archive of the first NAM conference to the memory of the World Program of UNESCO. Another issue discussed at the meeting, namely strengthening in the field of law. Retno said the two countries agreed to discuss mutual and criminal legal assistance agreements, as well as an early 2022 extradition agreement. Then the next point was about cooperation in the economic and investment fields. The Indonesian Foreign Minister encouraged the completion of a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, on agricultural cooperation.
The third point that I raised during the bilateral meeting is on the vaccine cooperation. And we agreed to prepare a mutual recognition on vaccine certificate to facilitate the mobility of our two people and the business community. The fourth point is on the economic cooperation. The Foreign Minister mentioned that we don't have any outstanding political issues. So our energy, our focus should be dedicated on how to strengthen the economic cooperation. And first, we need to finalize the MOU on the agriculture cooperation. Second, on investment, we have to work hard to bring two-way investment even stronger. And I appreciate very much the participation of the Serbian business community at the Indonesia Central Eastern Europe Business Forum, virtual one, that was held on the 7th of
The Indonesian Entrepreneurs Association, or APindo, spoke up regarding the carbon tax, which will be implemented in April next year. APindo asked the government not to implement the policy too early, especially amid the pandemic.
Member of the Industry Committee of the Indonesian Entrepreneurs Associations, Ahmad Wijaya, has raised his voice regarding the carbon tax, which will be implemented in April next year. He welcomed the policy as Indonesia's efforts to create a low-emissions industry. However, APindo asked the government not to implement the policy too early when the pandemic condition is still depressing the business climate. Ahmad Wijaya emphasized that currently there are many harmonizations made by the governments to suppress the business climate because the taxes imposed will make production costs charged to consumers. According to him, this will reduce purchasing power.
Apapun yang mau diimplementasikan, jangan in a short term of pasca pandemik ini kita sudah bebanin terus ke produsen. Padahal pemerintah kan baru mengucurkan PEN untuk supaya pemulihan ekonomi. So the best adalah kalau bisa kita tunda, bukan berarti dihapus, ditunda untuk recalculate ulang bersama. Jadi mungkin sekitar early 2023 lebih bagus daripada tahun depan yang sudah di depan mata kita baru selesai pandemik ini.
Ahmad Wijaya appealed to the government to re-evaluate the policies made and see the economic situation as the basis for policymaking. Currently, according to him, entrepreneurs need a number of stimulus to be able to rise, not an increasing tax burden. From Jakarta, Rizka Ayu at Bondantes, IDX Channel.
Bank Indonesia noted that the flow of foreign capital into Indonesia during 4 to 7 October 2021 reached 8.69 trillion rupiah. The flow of foreign funds entered through the stock market amounting to 9.96 trillion rupiah, but out through the sale of government securities amounting to 1.27 trillion rupiah. Thus, in the current period of 2021, foreign capital flows were recorded to have left Indonesia as much as 5.78 trillion rupiah. Along with the influx of foreign funds in the past week, the investment risk premium, or Indonesia 5-year credit default swaps, or CDS premium, rose to the level of 83.92 basis points as of October 7, 2021, from the previous level of 79.981 basis points as of October 1st, 2021. Meanwhile, the 10-year government bond yield fell to 6.32%, while the 10-year U.S. Treasury bond yield rose to 1.573%. On the other hand, regarding inflation, Erwin said price developments in October 2021 remain under control. This is based on the Bank Indonesia Price Monitoring Survey in the first week of October 2021, which is estimated to have inflation of 0.05% on a monthly basis. Market headlines. We will be right back with capital market information. Stay on us.
Inspirasinya dari mana? Bisa yakin gitu untuk kita membentuk Home Care 24.
Karena satu panggilan jiwa ya, di Indonesia belum ada menggeluti dunia bisnis health tech.
Jangan cuma ngelihat langit, tapi juga ingat bahwa kaki kita tuh masih di tanah gitu. Jangan cuma lihat cuan, tapi ingat masih ada risiko kerugian.
Apa yang bisa pelajari dari rugi? Karena kan pasti ada momen di mana seorang investor itu dia rugi, portofolionya itu merah.
Nomor satu banget yang paling penting disadari oleh pemula yaitu manajemen resiko. Investasi itu bukan untuk memenuhi kebutuhan hidup, harus tetap kerja. Trading untuk membantu kita mencapai tujuan hidup.
Jadi PT Paragon itu kan memang masih sebuah private company gitu kan.
Tetap ada responsibility, saya setuju tadi.
Mendevelop tim, ya kan, what can I help you, empower gitu kan, gimana supaya prosesnya lebih efektif.
Lebih bisa berkembang lagi, pushnya.
Satgas COVID-19 tetap mengingatkan agar masyarakat tetap disiplin dalam menegakkan protokol kesehatan.
Pemerintah akan melakukan upaya terbaik untuk memvaksinasi sebanyak mungkin orang dan secepat mungkin.
Kementerian Perdagangan optimistis target pemerintah untuk membuat 30 juta UMKM go digital bisa tercapai di akhir tahun 2023. Wisata Bali dan Labuan Bajo hingga saat ini masih menjadi favorit.
Welcome back on Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,482.95. And then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,462.31. And then the index was showing weakening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,459.69. And in short, JCI went down 0.34%. And we're moving on to top gainers and top losers. Here are the key highlights from today's trading session. From top gainers, Merdeka Cooper Gold, or MDKA, went up 12.77% to the level of 68 rupiah per share. Bumi went up, Kayu went up 9.68%. Bumi went up 9.3% to the level of 94 rupiah per share. And XL Axiata went up 6.67% to the level of 3,200 rupiah per share. And meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got BBYB went down 6.99% to the level of 1,330 rupiah per share. Pura went down 6.9% to the level of 54 rupiah per share. MLPL went down 6.7% to the level of 390 rupiah per share, and SWAT went down 6.45% to the level of 145 rupiah per share. And next, we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,201. Rupiah was also showing weakening trend towards US dollar and was closed at the level of 14,210. And in summary, rupiah went down 0.09%. In accordance with the company's diversification business strategy, Indika Energy has completed the sale of 51% of Mitra Batra Segara Sejati shares. According to Indi's Corporate Secretary Adi Pramono, the sale transaction of Mitra Batra Segara Sejati shares was carried out on October 8, 2021. The selling price was 660 rupiah per share. As a result, total transactions reached $41.31 million, or around 581.05 billion rupiah. In this, management believes that the implementation of the transaction will not have a material impact on the company's business activities. Previously, Indika Energy said that the Mitra Batra Segara Sejati divestment plan was one of the company's efforts to reduce exposure in the coal sector. Aziz Arman, Deputy President Director and Group CEO of Indika Energy, explained the sale of share ownership in MBSS is part of Indi's strategy as an energy company with a diversified business portfolio. The performance of Bank Rakyat Indonesia in the third quarter is believed to remain in a positive trend. This is reflected in the loan disbursement figure, which has begun to show improvement. The performance of Bank Rakyat Indonesia in the third quarter is believed to remain in a positive trend. This is reflected in the loan disbursement figure, which has begun to show improvement, although it is still at the single-digit level. This was conveyed by the Director of Finance of BRI, Viviana Dia Ayuretno. According to her, although there had been quite high pressure due to the second wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in the last July 2021 period, credit distribution began to improve, which grew around 6 to 7%. However, the official results of the company's business performance in the third quarter of 2021 will only be released at the end of October 2021. Meanwhile, related to the amount of credit cost until the third quarter of 2021, it also improved at the level of 3.9%. It is committed to continuing to provide the best options with a hope that in the future, credit costs will fall to the level of 3.5 to 3.7%. Then related to liquidity and loan-to-deposit ratio, Vivi also claimed that it was maintained well because it used the proceeds from the company's previous rights issue. IDX Channel reports. Harum Energy is optimistic that it can meet its coal production and sales targets, which are higher than last year. The company is targeting coal production and sales of 3.5 million to 4 million tons. Harum Energy is optimistic that it can meet its coal production and sales targets, which are higher than last year. Moreover, there is an ongoing trend of strengthening coal prices. This year, the company is targeting coal production and sales of 3.5 million tons to 4 million tons. This target is around 25 up to 30% higher than the realization of production and sales volume last year. According to the President Director of Harum Energy, Ray Antonio Gunara, the company has managed to dredge and sell 2.5 million tons of coal from the January to September 2021 period. Ray also said that most of coal production until the end of 2021 had been sold. As for the tariff, the company follows the prevailing market price at the time the sales contract is made. Harum sells most of its coal production to the Chinese market. In addition, Harum also markets coal to Thailand, Bangladesh, India and Pakistan. Harum hopes that the trend of strengthening coal prices can optimize revenue in 2021. IDX Channel reports. And step aside from market condition as the efforts in achieving herd immunity is still going on. Here it is, an update data about COVID-19 vaccinations in Indonesia. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, Your Trustworthy Economic, Business and Capital Market Channel. And to prevent the spread of COVID-19, always wear a mask and get vaccinated immediately. Masks have been shown to reduce the risk of transmission by 80%, while vaccines minimize the risk of death by 73%. So let's wear a mask and get vaccinated because masks and vaccines keep us healthy and happy. And I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening and stay safe.
aku mau kalau berbisnis pakai modalku sendiri walaupun kecil, tapi aku bener-bener punya semua decision kan aku. Jadi aku bisa ngelakuin semua yang aku mau. Jadi aku tuh pernah tiba-tiba tuh mikir kayak banyak banget ideku yang orang bilang gila, ngawur, kayak nekat kayak gitu-gitu kan.
Kayak yang gila yang nekat itu yang kadang berhasil ya.